Hello, Ken Ono here, welcoming you to another edition of Freedom Notes. Today's topic is choices. Choices. Now, first of all, we have to remember that every single moment is a moment of choice. Think about it for a moment. If you were to decide whether you want to have lunch or not have lunch, you have a choice. And in the moment, you could choose to have lunch, and then the consequence is that, well, you're full, or you have to go to a restaurant, and if at that restaurant you meet a friend and you discuss something that leads you to something else, and it goes on. And if you decide not to have lunch and maybe stay in, well, maybe the course of your life changes. And I love those kind of movies that do these things where they show you what one person did to make a choice, and then they show you what would have happened if they had another choice. And the beauty of that is that you see how one's life can go totally in different ways. What we have to understand is that there are infinite possibilities to every choice we make. But if we become aware of the choices that we're making, then we know that the choices are either bringing us towards what we want to manifest in our lives, or they're moving us away from what we want to manifest in our lives. And therefore, we choose to consciously understand the thoughts we're making. And as choice makers, we realize that there are infinite possibilities, and for every choice, there's a consequence. And I like to go this way. The thoughts we always thinking, the thoughts lead to our feelings, lead to our emotions, which lead to the behaviors and the actions we take, which lead to our results. So every thought, which is a choice, leads to a certain result, which is the consequence of our choices. So we have to remember how we should be thinking, how we should be feeling, and what actions we're taking to create the type of results we want. Those are the choices we should be making. And also, we should be asking ourselves, who or what will this choice affect? Because every time you make a choice, there's an effect. There's a movie called The Butterfly Effect, and I would recommend that you watch it because it shows you the choices the guy made and the effects he had. But he had the opportunity of going back into time or going into the future to change these things. And but the results were always that sometimes he made it even worse because of the choices he made. So you have to be very careful about the choices you make. We all have to live with them. We have to live with the consequences too. And sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. But hey, don't be too hard on yourself, because we're human beings creating, and mistakes are meant to help us grow and expand. Okay? So remember the choices you make, remember the consequences that they have, and therefore that will allow you to choose correctly. And one other thing too, listen to your body, because when you're angry, or when you're upset, or when you're fearful, there's a feeling you have which is an uncomfortable feeling, which is a feeling of not being at ease. And also that when you're happy and joyful, you have another feeling, a feeling of bliss. And that is when you're connected to the true source. So you can also use that to know if your choice is good or not good. Because if the choice makes you feel good, it makes you feel at bliss, and there are no nagging doubts in your head, then you know the choice is a perfect one. And if you get into nagging doubts, then maybe you want to reevaluate the choice. Sometimes they say, give it 24 hours and see if that choice is still the one you want. Okay? With that said, remember your choices. This is Freedom Notes, Ken Ono. Look forward to talking to you next time.